Today we'll talk about fertilization. Matter of fact, we'll talk about human fertilization. So fertilization is simply the union of the sperm from the male with an egg or eggs from the woman. So the process of fertilization is actually the union between the sperm, which is produced in the man, and the egg, which is produced from the woman, to form what we call an embryo. So an embryo is the union between the sperm and the eggs. That's simply what fertilization is all about. The ultimate aim of fertilization is to fuse the genetic components you pick from your father and the genetic component you pick from your mother to form a union. That's the practical ultimate aim of fertilization. So the egg carries some material, genetic materials from the woman, whereas the sperm carries some genetic materials from the male. So the union of both will lead to the production of a structure we call the embryo, which is actually the first phase of the developing baby in the belly of the woman. Fertilization actually occurs when the egg is actually released from the ovaries through the process of ovulation. Then the sperm must have been deposited inside the vagina. You can deposit the sperm through pathways. It can be through the sexual intercourse, or it can be through artificial insemination if the man involved is having problems. So until the sperm is deposited into the vagina, the sperm cannot actually participate in the process of fertilization. So the sperm has to be in the vagina. When the sperm is deposited in the vagina, and already, whichever one that happens first, if the eggs are already released from the ovaries, it goes through the fallopian tubes. The fallopian tubes are like two bridges that connect the ovaries to the womb. The womb is called the uterus. So when the sperm is deposited in the vagina, and luckily, if the eggs is there and both of them meet, this process of fertilization will occur. The week of pregnancy you're entering into, because once fertilization occurs, that's the starting point of pregnancy. So pregnancy is normally dated from your last menstrual period. Your last menstrual period is actually the period you start dating the pregnancy. So those first 2 weeks before you actually confirm pregnant is actually not the time you're pregnant. It's actually the time you're still going to go through the ovulation process. So normally you will release the egg, and the sperm will meet the egg. The release of the egg is dependent on your menstrual cycle. So if you have a regular 28-day cycle, you release your eggs on day 14. So in order for the fertilization to occur, like I mentioned, the sperm has to be there. You have to engage in sexual intercourse, or you have to go through artificial insemination. Once the sperm is in the fallopian tubes and both of them, kind of agree, then the onward journey to the womb will start. Until the fertilized egg is embedded in the womb, the process is not completed. So the embedding of the fertilized egg in the womb is called implantation. So when implantation is very successful, the process of pregnancy will proceed. So this is just the simple meaning of fertilization. That's in a simple layman's terminology what fertilization is all about. So once fertilization occurs and everything goes okay, the implantation goes okay, the pregnancy will proceed through the 3 different phases, which is the first trimester, the second trimester, and the last trimester. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in.